Welcome back to Breaking Fallout. In our last episode, I demonstrated how you can dupe settlement resources, so I went ahead and did that. My rule is don't have anything below 200, and if it gets below 200, dupe it again. Now, we are missing a few pieces of junk here. We are missing crystal. I think that's it though. I think we're just missing crystal. There's probably a few other things we are missing. But you can see I have made thousands of steel and wood, even though there was already thousands. I've made more. Because I showed in the last episode how you can use that to boost level. And eventually we're going to do that a little bit. But right now, before you ever leave from Sanctuary, wherever you're going, you should have 2 fertilizer, 1 plastic, and 1 piece of wood in your junk. Now, we really don't have to grab junk after all this, so that helps with carry weight. We're going to be looking again for crystal, and that's pretty much it. I do believe fiber optics. That's the other one. So, crystal and fiber optics, we can get that in microscopes. Shouldn't be too hard. We've already got our charisma set up. And now we have these. Now, the reason you want these is because any chemistry station that you run into in the wild, this is going to allow you to make jet. But we're not going to actually make jet. Instead, if you can, when you press right on your D-pad, it'll ask if you want to make said item. But if you can roll your thumb, there we go. If you can roll your thumb right after it is accepting that command to bring up this menu, you see how we have mentats highlighted? So if we do that, we just made mentats. Now, if you noticed, we ended up using a piece of lead because we had it in our inventory. Now, you can see we have 3 mentats here. So if we do the same thing rolling upwards instead of downwards this time, you can see we've made grape mentats, and it took one of the mentats we had made. The same thing goes here. Anything that you actually make, so you see we have the stim packs, the circuitry, and the acid. If we decided to make psycho, it took the one of everything. But if you don't have one of everything, you can do this for free. It is an alternate method of leveling up, even though it is very, very low experience. But at least you get a byproduct that can be sold or used to its advantage. That's why I'm making a whole bunch of grape mentats, because of that charisma bonus. Now, I know I look a bit ridiculous, but again, we can wear armor when it comes to still having some charisma. Now, we can't wear chest, but we can wear arms and legs, and anything is better than nothing right now. So we really can't do much when it comes to the weapons we have right now, but the same trick applies. As long as you're in this menu, you can do the same thing. So we can make an automatic receiver, but we need gun nut 1 to make that armor-piercing automatic receiver. But if we use the same thing, now we have that. And the best thing is, that is now a mod that we've built, so we can take it off, put it back on something else later. But you can do that for everything, and I suggest you do. Sometimes you can get to the best category, sometimes you cannot. And if you already have said mod, like the standard magazine, we can't do it. So if we happen to have the large magazine on and we wanted to use the trick to get to the quick eject, we'd have to unequip the large one and drop the mod, or give it to a follower, or put it in a container that is not the workshop, and then you'd be able to do it. But right now, we're just doing whatever we can to get a little bit of an edge with everything we've picked up so far. I actually want more damage. So just build your weapons to your liking. Right now I just have a little bit of everything because I don't have the ammos. And we shouldn't really need it all. Again, we're playing on normal, at least for this part. Eventually we're going to get to the broken, and from there we will crank it up to very hard. So you can see we're making things that are above our level by using this trick. Don't get me wrong, it's not the best trick in the book, but see, here's an example of what I was talking about. We want to get to the long light barrel, and we already know the long barrel. So let's just make something cheap, like the stub barrel. Okay. So now we're going to back out. I don't have any containers made, so we're just going to drop it. But you're going to go here to your mods, and we're looking for pipe gun, long barrel. And just drop that on the ground. So now, if we go back into our pipe gun and go down to long barrel, now we have a long light barrel, and we gained a level. Yet another reason you wanted to do this. So again, we're going to change what was on there. We're going to back out. We're going to go into our mods and look for standard stock. Drop it. Nope, wrong one. So now we can get a sharpshooter's grip, have a better pistol, so on and so forth. But that is how you get that done. That makes me, hold on a second, because stocks are technically better for accuracy. It's just a matter of, you know, are you doing pistols or rifles for your perk builds, essentially. So standard sights, we're going to get a medium scope. There, get the drum. And the compensator. And there was that idiot savant going off, giving us the extra experience for the action. So, ooh, we actually have 2 levels. So, we just did all that, and we could have had a level. Fun, fun. But to start, we've already got our idiot savant. Yeah, we're gonna need gun nut. This is a companion heavy build, hence the high charisma, so eventually we will need inspirational. But at this point in time, we do not. And you know, it's no big deal because, yes, we may have just made a bunch of useless actions. They weren't useless. We have all of those supplies we've already made. So, not useless. And not at all. And we'll just upgrade what we got going on here. And again, you might just get the best option. Yep. So, but again, it's all experience gain. Yeah, it's, 'cause I like night vision. And then we got ourselves something suppressed. That's good. Hardened automatic. We don't really need that. We already got all the way down there. Give it a muzzle brake. But right now you're just trying to get the best of what you're going to use Why are there two sites? Okay, that's a glitch. Alrighty, hopefully with it glitching I don't crash the game doing all this stuff. Okay, no, that's already... Eh. Long and medium's not going to make much of a difference. That's not going to make much of a difference either. Honestly, I probably won't get around to using all of these. Especially, I don't like using pipe stuff. So it'll probably be these two we're looking at. The 10 mil and the shotgun. But at this point in time, you just want to have options. So yeah. Now we're gonna need some kind of a container made. And that would be furniture containers. The reason being is we want to stash things. Can I put it under here? No. We want to stash things outside of the workshop. The reason for this is if raiders get in, they will use whatever they can grab from the workshop, and that's where they will go first. So we don't want to put like grenades. We don't want to put ammo in with any weapons we may have stored. Stuff like that. But now that we have all of that over and done with, we are going to venture out for a second. Now it should be safe from this point on, but make sure you grab these gourd. When I say safe, there's actually bloatfly over there somewhere. There's a raider in a cabin back there. You can see the cabin. But if you stick to the path I'm taking, you should be fine. You might hear some gunfire in the distance. It's just a scavenger. Oops, I didn't put anything on. Yeah, it's just a scavenger doing target practice, a little shooting range they've set up. There's usually some wild dogs, but they won't notice us this far away and close to the river's edge. You know you're going the right way when you see this small dock across from this wrecked car. And yet another one. You're looking for that suitcase. You can get the blood leaf if you want to, but it's not going to be necessary with the glitch I showed earlier. You're really not going to need it. So we don't need chest piece. I don't think we need right arm either. Raider stuff's not all that great, so we're going to leave it. But I need a left arm of something. And again, we can't wear the chest piece with the summer shorts. So this was just somewhere I knew that we could guaranteed get leg armor. I was hoping we'd get another piece of arm, but we did not. So now from here, gotta be careful going too far up the coast because there are mirelurks. And then again, there's bloatflies and wild mongrels. You should be able to handle it, but just for speed's sake, I'm not trying to engage. That's why I'm pointing them out for you if you want to take them out on your own. Now, don't freak out. The sentry bot is not active yet. But if you come over here, there is a fat man. And who doesn't love a good mini nuke launcher? There's going to be fusion cores, and if we hadn't duplicated circuitry, there's more if you need it. This is actually a good place for circuitry, but there's some flamer fuel. And then over here in this pile of tires, There's a mini nuke, but it's kind of stuck in the geometry, so you kind of have to walk over to it, bump into it a little bit. Don't jump on it, because that'll send it in underneath the wreckage of the car and whatnot. But if you come in here, I'm gonna shut the door. Got first aid, and again, more circuitry, some makeshift batteries, so some more stuff to scavenge. Including this hot rodder magazine, so it gives a hot rod flame design for power armor. But what is really interesting, and what we're here for, is if you can play this Combat Century Proto Mark IV holotape. This will allow you to activate the Sentry bot. So go ahead and do that. Just wait for his boot up sequence to end, and then eject the holotape. Now from here you have a few options. You can send him to a couple of sites around the map if you wish to follow him, and he will annihilate everything on the way, and then annihilate everything on the outside of wherever you sent him. But what we're going to do, let me zoom in here, we're going to play the holotape from our Pip-Boy, and we are going to initiate the self-destruct. You can't deactivate him once he's been activated. And engage defense protocol is what I was speaking of a moment ago. This is where you can send him to the USAF Olivia, which is right next door. You can send him to the Revere satellite array, which is a little bit a ways away. Same thing with the South Boston checkpoint or Fort Hagen. If you want to skip storyline, send him to Fort Hagen. If you want to skip some storyline for Brotherhood, go to the Revere satellite array. If you just want to clear something here and now, go to USAF Olivia. The best one, in my opinion, is the South Boston checkpoint, because there is a full suit of power armor in a cage there behind a terminal. But all of these aren't really important right now. What we're going to do is we're going to initiate his self-destruct. It's going to ask if you actually want to do this. We're going to say yes. And now he's going to, tell us as his directive. And eventually he will self-destruct. Now he should stir up a bunch of mole rats. If we're lucky, he'll take most of them out. Alright, well he at least got one of them. So now we're going to emerge and try to deal with any that were left. Really? So now that all the now you can always cut an auto burst short, but we're going to need the mole rat meat. Actually, I think we already have the mole rat meat, don't we? Yes, we do. Silly me. Because yet again I forgot one of the things that we need to do, but this is very close by. One of your first suits of power armor that you can pick up is actually right over here. And I say suits, it's the frame and a couple of pieces. You will need to have a fusion core, hence why we picked those up. Not bad. I'm just missing the arms for T-45. But we're going to get a full suit of T-45 here shortly. Another thing is, if you just want a little bit more protection right now, there is a flight helmet up here. So there's that, but we're going to stick with charisma. just because it will be necessary eventually. Now from here, are we already set to that? Yes, we are. We need to head towards Concord. But, wait a second, because there should be an ammo box somewhere. Feel free to take out the Rad Stag if you want. I'm not going to bother, because eventually, when we get to a cooking station, we can make their prepared dish for free. Really? Are you actually going to attack me, or is there something else? But we're going to start heading towards Concord, which is in that direction, south, but we're going to make a pit stop along the way. And it shouldn't be anything too tough at the moment. We're just trying to make it here to thicket excavations. Try and find an easy way down. It can be quite a drop. There should be stairs over here. Yep. Of course, if you fall into the water, you're fine, but it is highly radiated. So there's that. Speaking of which, I think... was that enough of a ledge to walk on? Yes. Cool. So we're trying to get over to that big yellow pump. We're going to speak to a gentleman. But before we do that, this green trailer just has a few pieces of junk in it, some aluminum cans and whatnot, but in here you can find a stim pack. There's usually some kind of chem in this toolbox. Again, if you're looking for junk, there's a desk fan, always nice, but we want the taboo tattoo. So now, hey, cooking station. Pardon me a second, sir. I would like to use the object you just started using. I know, rude. Alright, so, coming in here, the same trick we used earlier we're going to use now. So, we can make ourselves a couple of blood bug steaks. That gives us max health for a while. From the grilled rad roach, we can do deathclaw steaks, which that gives us a +1 to agility. Here was the rad stag I was speaking of. That gives us carry weight. From the mole rat chunks, we can do a Mirelurk queen steak. Fun fact, making one Mirelurk queen steak actually gives you 2. So we only need to do that once. The mutant hound chops, those will get rid of radiation. We need a rad scorpion omelet because that'll help in case we get any addictions from the chems and alcohol we will be using. And there are other things as we go that we can add to the list, but just never cook the actual item and cook what's next to it. You can have infinite of them, which is also how we get infinite money, because like I had said, the you can see here the Mirelurk Queen, I only did it once, but there are 2 steaks. So you can make a whole stack of these things. They're valued at 130 caps. We get our charisma jacked up, and then we sell these things off for like 101. It's awesome. Not to mention we can make them for free. So that's how caps are pretty broken. There's other methods, and we will get to them eventually, but for right now, we want to eat all of this stuff we made. So max HP, +2 agility. We're going to want the grape mentats as well. Go ahead and raise that. We'll have a Gwyneth something to go with it. I don't really need the mentats right now. Mirelurk Queen Steak. And these are all buffs and benefits from the food that you can't get addicted to, so they just don't last as long. Most chems don't last long anyway, but we'll get to that. So, and not to mention if you do get addicted, we can make these things endlessly. It's pretty awesome. So we're also going to pop some Rad X. That will be useful in a second. because I'm drunk. It's funny. So we're gonna ask for more money. So even more monies. And then even more money. And that's why we wanted the charisma boost. So, let's go ahead and help him. Alright, so if you're doing a melee build, here's your first sledgehammer. Ooh, bobby pins. But this is pretty easy. The reason we took the Rad-X is because we're going in the water. But you're just gonna first follow this pipe down. You can see the bubbles. And now, oh, don't get stuck on the rail. Come on, up. Thank you. And we're looking for this valve. Alright, so it would be 10 rads, not 2, if we hadn't taken the Rad-X. But you're looking for more bubbles over here. And then you're gonna head down to valve number 2. And then the same thing, you're gonna pop up heading in this direction. You're just gonna look for bubbles. There they are. And then head down, following the pipe. Eventually, I think I passed it. Yep, there it is. You'll find the third valve. Now, once all those are done, go ahead and come out of the water. And we can eat some mutant hound chops. That'll take away some of that radiation. Those are really good if you just don't want to use a Radaway. Like, it's not enough for a Radaway, but alright, so talk to him again. Alright, now be ready. This is going to stir up some trouble. So hit the switch. Now come over here. You saw it for a second. Here it comes. And we have Mirelurks. And now we just deal with them as best we can. Try not to hit Sully. Alright, now we can go ahead and take their meat too.
Hello.
So go ahead and talk to him one more time. Alright, so now we got a few more caps to barter with here in a moment. I think that was the Rad-X and the Gwinnett Stout. So if we come to this last trailer, there's a chance for some junk in these lockers. There's a place to sleep if you're playing survival. There's a cap stash, some dirty water, which if you're not playing survival is actually kind of hard to come by. So keep an eye out for it. It is an ingredient for squirrel stew to help us level a little bit faster. There's some old world food. There's a stim pack and then a tool case as well to unlock. Some ammo is always welcome. And then you can read Sully's journal from there. But now we're going to continue on towards Concord. Go around. I think there's a break in the gate over there. Stay out of the water. It's all radiated. Now we're not actually going to make it in there. Instead, we are trying to head for this icon to the south. But before we get there, here we are. So we got lucky.
Hey there. Let's see what you have.
So we got someone here who wants to barter. Now, this is a random encounter around. It could have been enemies. You ain't got anything I want, really. Maybe some of that ammo. But she's got caps. So what we're gonna do here, we can't really make anything out of that. At least nothing useful. But what we're gonna do is we're going to be making a whole bunch of Mirelurk Queen steak with our little fast moving finger trick here. Eventually you'll get the hang of it. I just roll my thumb kind of like I'm playing a fighting game, trying to get a special move to go off. But you're just trying to push up or down to interrupt the little menu option of do you actually want to make the mole rat chunks. Now we don't want to make too many of these things because they do weigh a pound each and we don't have that much carry weight. So we can make a whole bunch more actually. And before we go any further, I've got a level. So since we're going into our first adventuring with barter, we're gonna take that and again make more of these because we have this trader who happened to show up here, and that can happen all the time. I've run into chem dealers. They only swap chems though, so this doesn't work for them. That's where you would need a bunch of the great mentats. I've run into a whole bunch of different things, but it is very possible to run into a vendor here, but we are trying to go to a traveling vendor, a stationary vendor, and a chem vendor who's near the stationary vendor. And the traveling vendor will go between our home at Sanctuary and the stationary vendor that we are going to be visiting here shortly. So now we've got a few more of these made. That might be enough. Hey, Dreth, can we speak? Now I'm pretty sure my great mentats haven't worn off yet. I can see the little icon there, and if you're ever wondering, if you go to stats and then press L1, I wish it would tell you how much longer they had, but that feature is not here. Yep. So, I definitely want her 10mm rounds. I definitely want her razor grain. And that's it. So, I'm going to sell you all this free steak we've made. Now, yeah, she doesn't have enough caps, but again, we made the steak for free. So we might as well just take her for every cap she's worth. Now there's a couple of things to scavenge here. Bummer they did not make it. Ooh. But we got some mute fruit, however you want to say it. Now over here, you're going to hear gunfire in the distance. That's where we're going to end up eventually. But over here there is a shopping cart full of old world food and some baseballs. I just like taking the Nuka-Cola because I am a fan of Nuka. If we run over here a little bit more, you're going to find a toolbox. Now you can see this billboard and a fire in the distance. We're going to the fire in the distance. Because right next to the billboard is the traveling vendor I had mentioned. Her name is Trash Can Carla. Don't ask me. I didn't nickname her. That's just what she's called. So now when you come to this campfire, there is a box full of chems, meds, and some alcohol. And then there's usually a chem in this toolbox as well. So now we come over here. Make sure your grape mentats are still up. Honestly, they've been up for a while, so we're gonna go ahead and put them on again. If you want to, you could do another, just because we want that charisma boost. Now you want to be sarcastic with her. So because we made her laugh, that's going to give us a little bit of a discount. So looking here, we're definitely going to want your 10 mil, your shotgun, some of your 38, and is it a 45? It is a 45. Alright, so there's that. We don't need much of her junk. We're just looking for something that has crystal in it. So she doesn't seem to. There we go. And fiber optics, microscopes for the win. That pretty much should be it. Bobby pins. You always want to grab bobby pins. You're also going to want to grab any food that we can plant back at Sanctuary, dirty water. Any, if she had squirrel bits, the uncooked versions, we'd want those. We also want alcohol. And she shouldn't have anything special for weapons and armor. So now we go to our aid. And the Mirelurk stakes, you can see we have almost 10,000 to work with there, so we're looking one more. We're looking good. So now if we come up the road a little bit more while we still have that charisma boost, we're gonna run into a little conflict. But first, there's a first aid kit here. So don't freak out, these guys are gonna hold you up whenever you get here. So I like to say lower your gun. Alright, so offer some help. Ask for money. Ask for more money. Even more money. And that's yet another reason we wanted all that charisma. So now we'll go talk to her. So now we come and talk to Trudy. So let's end this peacefully. Alright. Alright, so talk to Wolfgang.
We get paid and haven't even got a shoot. Good job. Here. How about our shit? Let's see what you got. Remember.
Alright, so again, he's a chem dealer. Things you always want to look out for. Buff out, because we cannot construct that. Med-X, it's always good to have. Some Psycho. Honestly, I'm just going to grab his everything. That looks useful. Because why not? Again, we have free resources to take all of his caps and equipment. So, oh, looky there. Enjoy that steak. It's fake. Alright, so now we talk to Trudy. We're gonna barter with her. Now, she always has General Child's Revenge, so if you're doing a melee build, that's good for robots. It's just good in general, because it has a serrated blade mod, so the robots take extra damage and everybody else takes extra damage from the bleed. But we are looking... Oh, she doesn't have any fusion cores. So we're looking for ammo we can use. Again, if we can find any more fiber optics or crystal, that is what we are looking for. So, even more microscopes. Bobby pins, always bobby pins. Carrots and corn. More melons. And more alcohol. She'll have random apparel, but again, the only thing that's not random for weapons is General Chow's Revenge. So again, sell off these queen steaks. Alrighty. So now, this is a constant vendor. This is a constant chem dealer. Carlo will travel back and forth between standing right here and Sanctuary, so you will have a trader that will visit Sanctuary occasionally. Now, we're going to actually run back to Sanctuary. No. We'll do that in a minute. But before I forget, we're going to head up this road. You can see Carlo's Brahmin. And we're going to try and stay on the outskirts of Concord here, so we don't get caught up in any of the battles. But we are looking for a very specific house. Actually, no, I think I already grabbed all those gourds. So what we're going to do instead, since I've heard a ceasefire, yeah, Preston's already taken out all of the bandits, or at least all but one. If you want to skip dealing with Preston, you can. All you have to do is come this way. Yeah, there's someone who survived. If you come up this way through the church, and then if you come out here to the roof, I'm going to quick save in case I mess this up. But it is possible to jump on the tail of the vertebrate here and then come down, grab anything that is useful. Go ahead and pop in a fusion core. And then we can grab the minigun. So if you want to, you can help him. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to take the laser musket and the fusion cells. And then we are also going to walk over here because there is another Minuteman to scavenge from. Right over here. Oops, I was actually trying to turn on my flashlight, but since we're in this menu, we've got two to choose from. So, inspirational is going to come up shortly. We're going to take that. And then we're going to take one into Party Boy. Yep, because nothing else that we've got going on right now is going to benefit us. But that'll come in useful later. Believe me. Oh, really? You're going to be like that? It's off center. There we go. But they've got some fusion cells in a stim pack, and then a few other things that you can scavenge. But now that we've gotten the power armor and the minigun, we're actually going to head home. Normally I would like to, yeah. Let's go ahead and do this. Because getting Preston to come to Sanctuary is how you unlock Codsworth as a follower. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, normally when you get into conversation with Preston and Sturgis, they'll tell you about the power armor and the minigun on the roof. So if we show up with those already, it gives you unique dialogue options. But we're just going to come in here like a tour de force, because why not? Aha! Didn't save you to move. So there's really no reason to save the ammunition. This minigun is going to be our main form of damage, but we need it to be unloaded for that to happen. I know, it sounds crazy. Now if you want to get a half-charged fusion core, then you can grab that one. I don't know why it's half-charged, but that's just what it is. Should have listened to him. Should have gotten out. But we're just gonna go ahead and scavenge anything useful. Now, sprinting in power armor will eat up more of your fusion core, so I'm walking everywhere. Skin this. Alright, so now we're gonna come in here. You can grab one of the holo games, and we will speak to Preston.
Commonwealth Minuteman. Glad to help.
I'm just gonna go with the nice guy options. So this is the unique change. Alright, and if you want to, you can do the novice terminal here, but we want the that's unique too. Usually she warns you something's coming. Ah, the grape mentats wore off.
Are you listening to me?
So, we continue on. There's cap stashes and whatnot everywhere. Well, not everywhere. There was one we missed. But eventually caps won't be a thing. I mean, you see how we can dupe the traders with Mirelurk Queen stakes. So but now we go ahead and come on out here like they intended us to. Really? Now, while wearing power armor, there is no fall damage, so we can jump right down. So I just like to do short controlled bursts, save a little bit of ammo for what's to come. And you want to kind of stay back if you can. That way it doesn't trigger the next challenge prematurely. We want to get most of these raiders out of the way. Alright, so now if we can get a reload going, awesome. For whenever the Deathclaw shows up. Yeah, you heard me. So just keep as much of a bead on it as you can. If he starts getting too close, fire from the hip and back up. He's going to try and dodge and weave a whole bunch. We just want to try and avoid him grabbing you like that. That way we've got less to repair when we get back to Sanctuary. There's one more. Now she got a leg. So you can go around and grab all the supplies if you would like to. But at this point in time, we just need to head back to Sanctuary. And honestly, most of this stuff that you're going to grab is just going to be stim packs. We do, however, want to make sure we find the leader that was with them. Gretzel or Gretel or whatever his name was. No, he wasn't this far. He's further back. And if you want to, you can grab the Deathclaw stuff, but again, we can make those stakes for free. And again, he will have a unique name when you run across him. There's no T in that. Run across him. There he is. Gristle. So you want the Corverger storage key, because eventually we're going to be going to Corvega. But anything useful, go ahead and grab it. Now, if you want to, you can go down into the sewers beneath Concord. It's a small dungeon. The hardest thing in there is one Mirelurk. Everything else is mole rats and radroaches. So, that is an option. But we are going to fast travel back to Sanctuary. Now, from here, hopefully, because I think we can actually get Codsworth on our side because we've already talked to Preston, but I'm not sure if he actually has to show up here. So let's see. There we go. So now, because we've already... Yeah, so send dog meat here to Sanctuary. Now, because we've already taken the perk of Inspirational, he will actually deal some decent damage. And even though we can't heal him, he also can't go down. So, that is useful. Alright, so... Codsworth loves it when you use or work on power armor. So we're just going to fix all of this for right now. So I had shown in our previous episode how to boost your level. At this point in time, we are a level 7. We need to get to a level 13 to make sure that we get the second rank of Gun Nut. So that is what my goal is here. We're going to go into the workshop, go into furniture, go into shelves, find a wall shelf. I have more wood than steel. And then we're just going to build a bunch on top of each other and then scrap them as we go. That's the idea. That is how you can boost levels, especially here early on when it's still worth it. If you want to get even more EXP, you can actually make a bed and sleep in it first. That will give you more EXP, but when you get too many shelves, you can just scrap them all and get half of the resource you spent on them back to do it again. But again, we're only doing this up to a level 13. But I will pick the video back up whenever I get there. You could stay out of the way. That's how you can be of assistance. No, that's mean. That's rude. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah, we're going to boost our level up to 13, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off camera and do that. Hopefully you found this informative and entertaining, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.